I kept my hand still this time. Didn't reach for what felt warm. Didn't turn a quiet moment into something fully formed. I let the air stay empty, let the silence take its place. Didn't try to name the feeling, didn't try to give it shape. And you were there beside me, not asking me to choose, not pushing for a meaning, not afraid of something loose. And maybe that's what changed me, not what you said or did, but how you let the moment live without forcing what it is. I used to build from nothing, now I let nothing be. I used to run toward answers, now I let them come to me. I didn't rush this feeling, I let it slowly breathe. I didn't chase the meaning or ask what it could be. I didn't rush this feeling and something new began. A love that didn't need me to understand the plan. It's strange how calm can scare you when you're used to constant noise. When love feels like a whisper, not a storm you can avoid. But I stayed with the softness, didn't run from something real, and learned that quiet moments are the strongest kind to feel. No timeline, no pressure, no fear of what's ahead. No proving, no pretending, no rehearsing what I said. Just one small, honest feeling resting in my hand. Not asking to be owned yet, not asking to be planned. I didn't rush this feeling, and nothing fell apart. I found a different rhythm inside a steady heart. I didn't rush this feeling, and now I understand. The safest kind of love doesn't demand a plan. You said, how are you really? Not the version people say. And I paused inside the question, like I might just run away. I said, I'm still learning patience, still unlearning how to hide. And you didn't interrupt me, you just stayed there by my side. I said, sometimes I get distant, not because I do not care, but because I'm still adjusting to someone actually there. You nodded like you knew it, didn't try to make it small, and somehow that acceptance didn't scare me at all. No fixing, no saving, just space to be true. No turning my confession into something about you. You asked, and I answered honestly. No filters, no disguise, no editing my feelings, no softening my mind. You asked, and I answered honestly. don't need perfect, I just want what's real. And I almost started crying because I forgot how that could feel. I said I might need time. You said we have enough. And there it was, so simple, a patient kind of love. Maybe truth is not a storm when someone holds it right. Maybe honesty can enter without starting a fight. Maybe I was never too much, maybe I was just unheard. Maybe love can sit beside me and not punish every word you asked. And I answered honestly and stayed exactly me. No hiding in the shadows, no fear of being seen. You asked and I answered honestly, and I finally believed the truth inside my chest doesn't make me hard to keep. I remember the first evening when love didn't make a sound. We were sitting by the window while the rain touched the ground. You didn't fill the silence, you didn't ask me why. You just passed me half your blanket and watched the quiet sky. The kettle clicked behind us, the room smelled like tea. Your shoulder touched my shoulder without asking more of me. No fireworks, no promise, no movie kind of light. Just two people breathing softly like the world had turned out right. I used to think love entered like thunder through the door, but you arrived so gently I almost missed what it was for. Love feels quiet with you, like rain that doesn't flood, like a hand that doesn't hold too tight, but still feels warm enough. Love feels quiet. Began to fade. You didn't make me explain it, you just asked if I had aid. And somehow that small question became a softer kind of prayer. Not grand, not cinematic, just someone truly there. Maybe love is dishes drying, maybe love is dim hallway light. Maybe love is not performing for a heart that wants to fight. Maybe love is staying present when nothing needs repair. Maybe love is ordinary, and that's why it feels rare. Love feels quiet with you, like morning through the blinds, like I can leave my armor somewhere safe behind. Love feels quiet with you, and I don't have to run. For once the calm is not a warning, it's where love has begun. Tonight I said the hard thing before it became a wall. Before I turned my feelings into silence down the hall. You were rinsing out a coffee cup, I was standing by the chair, and I felt the old fear rising, but I didn't leave it there. I said something hurt me when you looked away before, and my voice was not dramatic, it was steady, nothing more. You dried your hands and listened, no defense, no sudden blame. And the kitchen stayed a kitchen, not a battlefield of shame. I used to bury every bruise to keep the evening calm. Now I trust my own voice before the feeling's gone. I'm not afraid to speak now, I'm not afraid to say, this matters, this hurt me, please don't turn away. I'm not afraid to speak now, and I don't need to shout. The truth can leave my body without burning the house down. You said thank you for telling me, I didn't see it then. And something old inside me learned a new way to begin. No punishment for honesty, no coldness in reply, just two people choosing language instead of letting distance lie. Maybe peace is not silence, maybe peace is being heard. Maybe love grows stronger when it survives a truthful word. Maybe I can be gentle and still be clear. Maybe speaking from my heart doesn't make love disappear. I'm not afraid to speak now, not because fear is gone, but because I finally know my voice deserves the dawn. I'm not afraid to speak now, and you don't make me small. Healthy love is not the place where I disappear at all. It was almost midnight, and I couldn't sleep again. My thoughts were making circles around places they had been. I said, I don't know what's wrong. You said, you don't have to know. Then moved a little closer, but let the silence grow. You didn't call it overthinking, didn't ask me to be strong, didn't turn my heavy evening into something I did wrong. You just sat there with the lamp low, let my breathing come apart, like being with my sadness was not a burden on your heart. I used to fear my dark days would make someone leave, but you didn't need my healing to decide to stay with me. You listened without fixing me, and that feels like grace. You don't make my hurting into something out of place. You listen without fixing me, like I'm allowed to be a person person still becoming, not a project you must complete. I told you about the old things, the words that still come back. How sometimes I start shaking from a memory, not a fact. You didn't offer wisdom, you didn't make a plan. You just said I'm here with you and reached out for my hand. Not everyone needs answers, not every storm needs light. Sometimes love is staying through an ordinary night. Sometimes care is quiet, sometimes help is space. Sometimes being witnessed is the safest kind of place. You listen without fixing me, and I can breathe again. Not because the pain is over, but because I have a friend. You listen without fixing me, and somehow I feel free to be unfinished, still worthy, still loved as fully me. We don't make big declarations at the edge of every night. We don't turn a little spark into a lifetime overnight. We take the long way walking, no need to prove it fast. Some things become stronger because they're allowed to last. You don't call it hesitation when I ask for time to think. You don't treat my careful pacing like a boat about to sink. I don't call your quiet distance something I must fear. We both learn love breathes better when it has room to be clear. The world keeps rushing everything like speed means something true, but I like the softer timing that I found with you. We move slow and it works, no pressure in the turn, no fire we have to worship, just warmth we let burn. We move slow and it works, no race we have to win. Love doesn't need to hurry when it knows where it begins. We build with little rituals, a call before the rain, a message when the day feels long, a laugh that stays the same. No dramatic proof of passion, no fear dressed up as need, just two people learning patience like a language both can read. Slow does not mean distant, soft does not mean weak. Some love grows in whispers because it doesn't need to speak. And I am not less certain because I take my time. A steady heart is still a heart, even without a sign. We move slow and it works, and I can feel it stay, not gripping, not just choosing. Every day we move slow, and it works. And maybe that is why for once love feels like breathing, not like learning how to survive. Before I used to count the hours between a word and your reply, turn every little silence into proof I should not try. I studied every sentence like a map I couldn't read, mistook my own anxiety for something love should need. Now you say what you are feeling without making me decode. You don't disappear for days, then ask why I feel cold. You call when plans are changing, you tell me where you are. Not because I own you, but because care is not that hard. I didn't know that simple things could feel like being free until someone stopped making love a mystery to me. No more guessing where I stand, no more reading empty air, no more asking if I matter to someone who is there. No more guessing where I stand, no more shrinking to be kept. You make love feel honest, not like a secret I must protect. I still catch myself sometimes waiting for the shift, for warmth to turn to distance, for the floor inside to split. But you keep showing calmly in ways I can believe, and little by little my body learns to breathe. This is not control, this is not a chain. This is what it feels like when love does not train pain. This is not possession, this is not demand. This is someone choosing to let me understand. No more guessing where I stand, no more proving I belong, no more turning nervous silence into another lonely song. No more guessing where I stand, and the peace still feels new. I don't have to lose myself to be loved by you. This doesn't feel like before. That's the thought I keep returning to. When you answer with kindness, when you follow something through, when the night stays peaceful, when a pause is just a pause, when I don't have to turn love into a courtroom with a cause. This doesn't feel like before, and my body doesn't trust it yet. It still keeps old alarms but you don't punish caution. You don't take it personally. You just let me learn safety at the speed it comes to me. The mind repeats the question, the heart replies unsure, but every gentle moment makes the answer feel more pure. This doesn't feel like before. No chaos at the door, no begging to be chosen, no breaking on the floor. This doesn't feel like before. No silence used as war. I don't know what this is yet, but it doesn't feel like before. This doesn't feel like before. When we disagree and stay, when you don't twist my meaning, when I don't walk away, when the room can hold discomfort without losing all its light, when love can have a hard talk and still sleep through the night. Maybe I can stop comparing every softness to a scar. Maybe new love shouldn't suffer for the places old loves are. Maybe different can be trusted, even when fear keeps the score. Maybe peace is not pretending. This doesn't feel like before. This doesn't feel like before. And I'm learning what that means. Not every open hand is hiding something underneath. This doesn't feel like before, and maybe that is enough to let myself receive a safer kind of love. Dear me, don't disappear this time. Don't fold into their light. Don't trade your own quiet morning for someone else's night. You can love them very deeply and still keep your own name. You can walk beside another without becoming the same. Remember all the virgins who thought love meant to bend until they couldn't recognize their own voice at the end. Remember how you promised if real love came again, you would not make your body a house for someone else to live in. So check your breath, check your hands, check the dreams you still keep. The right love will not ask you to abandon them to sleep. I am still me inside this love, still whole, still here, still mine, still allowed to need my space, still allowed to take my time. I am still me inside this love, not swallowed, not erased. I can open up my heart without giving up my place. Dear me, let joy arrive, but do not make it chains. Let their kindness touch you, but do not worship it as rain. You are not less grateful when you keep your boundaries clear. You are not less loving when you choose to stay sincere. Love can be a garden, but you still need your sky. Roots do not mean prison, wings do not mean goodbye. And if the bond is healthy, it will not ask you to shrink. It will give your soul the quiet that allows your life to think. I am still me inside this love, and that is why it grows. Not because I lose myself, but because somebody knows I am still me inside this love. And finally I see the love that's truly safe makes more room for me. Look at what we made here. Not a castle, not a cage, not a love that burns the paper just to prove it filled the page. We built it out of small things, honest words and slower days. 1,000 little choices not to repeat old ways. We didn't turn our wounds into rooms the other cleaned. We didn't call it passion when it looked more like need. We learned to hold each other without holding too tight. We let the morning enter without fearing the night. It took more than feeling, it took patience, it took care. It took two people staying without disappearing there. We built this without breaking ourselves. No shattered hearts as proof, no losing all our edges to make the story true. We built this without breaking ourselves, and that's the miracle here. Love does not need damage to mean it was sincere. There were days we moved carefully around things that still felt sore. Days when old ghosts whispered from behind a half-closed door. But we didn't hand them power, we didn't let them lead. We chose a gentler language for the things we used to bleed. Maybe this is what I wanted before I knew the name. Not a love that ends the hunger by becoming a brighter flame, but a love that lets me notice I was never incomplete. A place where two whole people can stand on steady feet. We built this without breaking ourselves, and I can feel it now. No collapse beneath the softness, no fear behind the vow. We built this without breaking ourselves, and if the world turns rough, we'll keep choosing the kind of love that never asks us to be less than enough.